just don't put it on YouTube. I have a tendency to offend too many people, and I don't want it out there that I'm mean and picking on other programs or whatever the case may be. But anyway, there's a difference, guys, between offensive game and a great hit. Offensive game, thank goodness they're starting the money ball. They're starting to realize that's winning baseball. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. My dad has been preaching that for, he's way ahead of his time when it came to, getting on base. There's one absolute with all great hitters. Thank goodness Vlad Guerrero is no longer playing anymore, because he was one of those, from the neck to the shoe tops, he'd swing and he could hit. And he was successful that way. But the one constant with all great hitters is they hit what they should hit, they take what they should take. They have that knack because they've worked smart, and that's what we're going to talk about an awful lot tonight. The ones that are free swingers, when we're scouting opponents, it's so easy to pitch them because there's so many different things that you can do to get them. The ones that know their hot zones and their cold zones, those are the ones that are tough. People ask all the time, how do you do it? You guys have led the nation on base percentage 9 out of the last 10, whatever it is, 9 out of the last 11 years. Walks and hit by pitch and stuff. Well, we work at it because that's what it's about. When you know, all right, 0-1, 1-0, first pitch, there's your hot zone, go. Don't wait around, hit it. Go on and bust that thing. You know what? If it's not in your hot zone, then take it. Leave it alone, even though it's a strike, even though it's a fastball. It doesn't make sense. Boom, you make a quick out. What have you done? Nothing. We want to put pitches in that guy's arm, right? Starters are there for a reason. Guys are in the bullpen. Why? Why are guys in the bullpen? Why are guys in the bullpen?
The starter runs off.
That's right, because they're not as good as the starters. That's why. That's why they go to the bullpen. Yeah, I know there's some guys down there on the back end that are pretty nasty. Come in throwing hard and do whatever. But you know what? Those guys in the middle, they're down there for a reason because they're not as good as those starters. And when we're able to get into counts and have offensive game, and thank goodness people are appreciating it now, that's winning baseball. And I go and I watch games nonstop. There's no talent. Somebody asked me the other day, how many games have you seen over the course of a year? And I don't even, some of those days in the summer when we'll go 5 straight weeks of recruiting and I'm watching 5-6 games a day, not to mention my son's games and everything else. Those guys that are the free swingers, they get us fired. They do. You got to understand, this is what it's about. Hit what you should hit, take what you should take. All right, how do I figure that out? Well, the first thing is when you work smart. I can work off a tee, I can do my thing, and I can sit that joker right there in the middle. That's not going to do me a bit of good. Or I can sit it back here, sit it there on the corner, inside, outside, up, down, and I can do it over and over and over. And you'll find out where it is. When the guy's throwing to you and you shanking pitches out here, well, there's the issue. So obviously I'm not going to do something early in the count out here. 2 strikes, obviously I got to go. But the main thing is I drill it and I drill it over and over. And that's what when people ask, how do you do it? That's what I do. I pitch to them. After the fall's over, we come spring, but as soon as they come back here January 5th, 6th, whatever it is, that's the first, here we go, let's go. Because I've got some data on you, I've got 60 at-bats in the fall, you're a freshman, we're going to figure it out. Let's go to work. I'll flip it in there. Hey man, yeah, I know it's a changeup. Why'd you take it? Well, I just, it was a changeup. Son, I've got you're 10 for your last 11 on pitches that are this, belt high on the inner part. Go on and hit it. Don't sit around and wait for something. Now all of a sudden you get a bad call. Now you're 0-2. Now you're 1-2, whatever the case may be. Boom, just like that. And there was the pitch. That's the maturity that you got to come to grips with. It's not the 2-2 slider in the dirt that you swung in and struck out on. It's that 1-0 back in the day or back in the earlier in the count that you should have gone on and hit and put it in play and been ready for it. Also, you've got to get over that fear of hitting with 2 strikes, guys. You want to be the high on base percentage guy. They're paying for OPS and guys that play winning baseball, seeing pitches, stuff like that. Hitting with 2 strikes, we've got to get over that fear. That's what generally happens. We say, I don't want to hit with 2 strikes. Why? The dreaded strikeout, right? Well, if I'm able to let the ball travel farther, which we're going to get into in depth here in a little bit, I'm ahead of the game. Because the further I see the baseball, the longer I see it. If I say I'm going to pull it, which when I pull, I obviously got to hit the ball out here. I'm going to hit it further out in front, right? Well, somewhere along the lines, I'm starting my swing earlier. It's a big no-no. Those pictures that I was talking about that I have in my locker, I'm not in my normal spot. Normally I have a thing I can put up there. But every picture, those guys are right here. Hands are pushed away, but the guy's going the other way. There's not any of this. They're all in this, they're in a compact area. The contact is going to occur within the body. Yes, on an inside corner fastball, here I am, and I bring my hands in tight. Yes, I'll make contact with it right here. There's the corner of the plate. There's where I want to hit it. If I hit it further out in front, all I'm going to do is hit it foul. There's where I want to be. One of the biggest misconceptions in hitting is extension. Extension occurs after contact. And I will say that again, because there's a lot of dads going, whoa, 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 hang on. Hank Aaron, yeah, I know. He'd get out there and club that thing, right? He'd hit that thing and top-handed and club it. Ken Griffey Jr., very similar. There were some towards the end of his career, he was more compact. But if you watch guys these days, the ones that are making all the money, that contact occurs, boom, there's contact, there's contact, there's contact, then I'm going through the baseball. The contact and extension through. It's not, that's when I'm hitting the ball at contact. I'm much weaker in that position. You don't believe it? Try to get in there and do some curls. And take those hands out away from your body. The further your hands get away from the body, the weaker you are. The more compact, the short swing, everybody hears that, right? Short, 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 short. And all we do is keep going, boom, hitting everything there. Hands are out away from the body, casting the hands out. That's not a short swing. A short swing means I'm compact, hands are in tight, I'll get through the baseball after contact. Talk about getting into counts and doing things that make sense. We have to understand the strike zone. The strike zone is probably the biggest farce in sports. Again, I apologize for my plate. 17 inches, the width of a plate. 17 inches is what we've got. Now, I tell our guys when they first get to Florida State, I say, fellas, you want to be a good hitter in college? Let me tell you how this works. This isn't the plate. This is, get that ball out of there. This is the plate. Every single night in college baseball, that pitch right there, it's called a strike. John will tell you, plenty of times we were like, what in the world? That zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm a left-handed hitter, by the way. This is all on the outside part of the plate. Everything happens out here. Let me start with this. This one really, in 1998, I got done playing pro ball. I came back here. I was going to get my master's. You guys probably don't know what I'm talking about in regards to a thesis, but we had to do a thesis. And we had to do, which is a long, drawn-out study, is what a thesis is. I mean, it takes forever and a day. Well, we got to do, we're reading these journals, and gosh, it's the most boring. If anybody's ever read journals, it's pretty difficult to read. But anyhow, so we got to dig through these journals and pick out some and, do some our research. Well, this grabbed me. What the title was, In or Out, Strike Zones in Major League Baseball. Well, back in the day, now you can really get them easy, but back in the day, if you were to, send an email or call, they would give you, the teams would give you the games that, that they had previously played. So this guy did, again, a thesis, which is an awful lot of research. So the guy is working towards his doctor or what have you, and the title grabs me and I'll start reading. He took the first half of the 1996 season. He took everybody in the American League. He was out there on the West Coast or whatever else. He took everybody in the American League and got every single pitch that was thrown. Watching it. Where the pitches. He wanted to know. Because where do they supposedly like to pitch in pro ball? Wooden bats, right? They pitch inside. College guys can't pitch in. There's because of the aluminum bats, blah, blah, blah. They supposedly like to pitch in more than anybody else. And I've said it, even when I was, playing pro ball and in college and watching games, like, man, there's an awful lot of pitches. That guy's throwing outside. Well, there's a reason why, which we're going to get to in a second. So this guy does this study. He gets the first half of the American League. Guess what it was? Guess what the percentage was? The MLB. 76% of all pitches thrown. Now, every pitch that ended up down the middle counted towards outside, which in my opinion is okay. Down the middle counted towards outside. Again, I'm a left-handed hitter, so I'll push everything over to that side. 76% of all pitches at the major league level were thrown to the outside part. You think about it. All-speed pitches, we trying to throw those inside? No. All speed pitches we're trying to throw away. Get the guy out in front. And, okay, I get it. Fastballs. What about fastballs? The guy goes 50-50 in and out, which they don't, which I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So if you factor that down to college guys aren't as accurate, obviously. They're more worried about hitting you. But the biggest thing is, those guys have got, it's the strike zone. The strike zone is the big thing. Umpires, I tell you what, jump up for me, bud. And I'm gonna need you as well, too. Come on up. Drop down. You act like you're left-handed. All right. Let me tell you why. And this is what I talk about with our guys. You want to be a great hitter at Florida State, you better be able to hit this pitch one ball off the plate. And I mean drive it. You got power, hit it out of the ballpark. If you're a gap-to-gap guy, you better drive that pitch right there, one ball off the plate, be able to drive it into the gap. Two balls off the plate, you better get a solid swing at it. You got, drive the ball through the opposite field, you better be able to do something with this pitch right here. You go to Miami, Gainesville, you better be able to hit that pitch too, that third ball. But every single night, that pitch right there is called a strike. That one right there is about 60% of the time. By the way, it's all I do during the spring is I'm watching our hitters and I analyze where the pitches are, the percentage, everything else, how far off, blah, blah, blah. But again, that's 19 years worth of watching stuff. Every single night, 60% of the time, now you probably go 30% of the time, 3 balls off the plate. Now, umpire, he's not out to get you guys. He's not. From Little League through the major leagues, it doesn't matter. The guy is always in the slot, the umpires. He's not out to get you. Left-handed hitter, catcher's here. The slot is the area between the hitter and the catcher. Their face is always there. Swing around. Right-handed hitter. No, swing. Swing around. Surprised you didn't get my nose. My nose always gets in the way. Right-handed hitter, this is where they are. Their face is always on the inside part of the plate. You ever see an umpire go, ball? Nope. They're not taught that way. They can't. They're taught to be perfectly still. This is where they are. They can't see it, guys. So what has happened? Thank you, guys. So what has happened? Pitchers have figured it out. It's a heck of a lot easier for them to go out here, get strikes called. How many guys can drive the ball out the other way? It's a heck of a lot harder than hitting it pull side, isn't it? So what they do is they just stay and live out there over and over and over. And us dumb hitters, well, shoot, I'll just be a 230 guy. Well, all I got to do is sell out. That's where the guy is going to work me. I'm going to learn to dominate here. Now, how do I hit this pitch? I'm going to actually swing it back left-handed. So I'm an ugly-looking right-handed hitter. First thing I got to understand is, how many guys remember those ATEC tees? They really don't make them anymore. They had the holes, they had one out front, they had the middle, back. They're great, except there's not a big enough discrepancy, meaning distance in between. What I like is more like this. A guy stands in a traditional spot on the plate, meaning foot in this position. He's way back in the box and everything has to shift back. But a guy that stands traditional in this position here, that's the way it should be. If I hit the inside corner pitch, there's where I'm going to be. My hands are going to be in tight, close to my body. Actually, more about right there. Just slightly out in front of my body in that position there. I'm not going to go out here and get it. Middle pitch, there's where I'm going to be. Hands are in tight, compact, barrels on it, driving the ball. Here. Back here is the one that people don't understand. Everybody wants to hit this pitch out this area here. And yeah, you can hit it the other way. When I get in this position right there, I'm standing right where I normally stand. There's where I have to be. When I make contact with that ball. Guys, that is massaging the ball the other way. You're just guiding it the other way. Again, I'm going to bring it straight back. You guys that can see, I'm going to bring it straight back in this position right here. Same line. Now when I step in the exact same place, when I hit that, now I'm going to be able to drive it. That's a much more powerful position than that right there. So when you're working, again, some people say the back hip, I'm kind of in between my belly button and my back hip is where I want to hit that ball. If I catch it a little bit farther back deep, yeah, I'm going more down the line. That position there. But that right there is where the game's played. If I could reach it, dominate, look for it out there, why don't we look for it? Golly, it's hot. Why don't we look for it? It's where they're going to throw it. I just told you the study, MLB. Told you the college guys, factor down to high school. Good Lord have mercy. What about them umpires? How about those pitchers? They're scared to death of hitting you. They're scared to death of running one back out on the inside and then you crank it. That percentage, I guarantee you, in high school baseball and travel ball, I guarantee you the percentage of pitches thrown away is close to 90%. I guarantee it is. A heck of a lot easier for them. Make sure you understand the importance of that. And then you go hit it, guys, and drive the ball unless the ball travels. I'm not going to hit it in an out front position. Now, let me go ahead while we're on this subject. How do I do that as far as getting the bat on plane? The plane happens, and it happens quick. Here I am. Land foot, lands, trigger stride. Here I am, stacked, locked, and loaded. Front heel hits the ground, back heel comes off the ground. My first movement, my very first movement when my swing starts, the hands are going to go in, close to the body. Sure, I'm recognizing the pitch. The pitch is outside, I can push my hands away. But the last thing I want to do is go from the outside in. I want to work from the inside out in this position here. But the main thing is, and this is where some of the dads are going to be like, oh crap, I've been teaching wrong. Because I'll battle a guy that's won a lot of games for a long time. And that's the way he taught me, and that's the way a lot of people have been taught. A downward angle. There isn't. The higher the pitch, yeah, the more I'm going to go that way at it. But notice what I'm doing. I'm still on plane. That's down. That's what everybody says. Down, down, short, quick, and down. Look what happens. When's the first time my barrel gets in the zone? Out in front. So for me to hit a pitch, and we all agree, this is where they're going to be working. Everything happens out here. Well, I better get the dang barrel in the zone a heck of a lot earlier. There's where I'm going to be. The back elbow goes to the back hip or the side, whatever. They're going right there. What it does now, it gets me on plane. Now I can make flush contact. There and flatten it out, it's a bunch of garbage. I've yet to see anybody. I've been fascinated by this for an awful long time. I wasn't a very good hitter. Guess how I hit? Just like that. Everything was down. Everything was down. I'm sitting here watching TV night after night, Sports Center, baseball tonight, for years. I'm like, hang on a second, man. Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn, those guys, I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, wait a minute, man. The lower the pitch, yes, the lower the pitch, the more I've got to go in an upward plane to give myself the best chance to make solid contact. The baseball is coming down at a downward angle. When it's coming at a downward angle, for me to get on plane and give myself the maximum surface area to make solid contact. If I'm out in front, okay, I'm still on, well, it's going to be higher if I'm out in front, right? Gravity's got it. It's not coming in at this point. It's coming in at that point. So for me, in order to match the plane of the pitch, the lower the pitch, the more, I'm going to sink in my legs. The barrel is going to get below my hands, and there's the way I'm going to hit it. Boom. I'm going to give myself every opportunity, because if I catch it where I want to, great. There's where it was. Oh, shoot, it was 85 instead of 89. Okay, I'll catch it there. But if I'm going in and out of the zone, the old V-swing, you see guys all the time. Their surface area to make solid contact's about that big. Give me the guy that's got the barrel in the zone an awful long time. And it has to be. There's no way to make solid contact consistently trying to meet the ball that way. It doesn't work. The lower the pitch, the more it has to be in that fashion there. Higher the pitch, yeah. You can go at it and boom, club that thing. Barrel above the hands. And the barrel above the hands, I've yet to get. And all my barrel above my hands. I've never seen a guy hit a ball like that. Actually, I take that back. It was like Ty Cobb or Roger, an old timer. He took that, I couldn't believe it. I stopped it, and now we got DVR and can stop and rewind. And that joker, he went, wham! He hit that, and I said, holy crap. I said, rewind that, son. Went back, rewind, sure enough, that barrel that's the way he hit it. Just like that. But again, it doesn't happen very often. We're not going to be consistently good. And where are they trying to throw the ball, too? Where they up or down? Yeah. Johnny! Well, all the coaches yell, throw the ball down, get the ball down, get the ball down. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'll take that low ball hitter. I'll take him all day long. You know why? Come down. Sorry. You too. Come down. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I don't need you. Squat down. I'm 6 feet. Strike zone, right? Underneath the chest muscles, bottom of the kneecaps. Underneath chest muscle. There ain't a whole lot of muscle there anymore, but right about there, right? Take it like this. Now put your glove up, like you're catching that. Like you're catching that pitch. You ever seen that call a strike? Heck no. I never call it. Where do you get out Barry Bonds back in the day? Yeah, I know. Say what you want about it. That's good. Thank you. What do they say? That guy was the best hitter, and I swear to goodness, that we'll ever see. You know, and again, I don't know how you feel. I was fascinated by, you know what? Where do you get him out? Where do you get him out? Where do you get him out? Up. What did he do? He took it. Yeah, if there was some reason he swung at it, yeah, that wasn't his hot zone. That was a cold zone. And he just took it. He wouldn't call it a strike. Go to first base, produce runs, team would win because of him. Fascinating. That discipline, that mental discipline that he had, he'd never go up there. I don't care. Well, you know, the up cheese kind of gets him. Well, shoot, just take it. I'm not going to call it a strike. It looks good to us, doesn't it? Because it's closer to our face than the pitch that's down there. But that's where they're trying to throw the ball, and that's where they're getting us out. That is all speed pitches. We got to be able to counteract that. That's where they want to throw it, and outside is where they want to throw it. But we never want to work on that. How many times you ever gone down here? I've yet to see until I bark at them. When I come down to the cage, you know, our guys are working on their own or whatever. We're getting started, practice, and I've yet to go down there and see one of my guys not having the tee either here or there, somewhere in that area right there. You know, I walk down, hey man, you know, 0 for 3 last night, weak ground ball, punch out, and, you know, whatever, fly ball. Guess where all those pitches were? Well, I did. Yeah, they were right there, bud. They were right there. That's where the guy got you. But yeah, you come down here and there's where you're working. Wham, that feels good, doesn't it? That doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense because that's where the guy's trying to throw it and that's what's getting you out. We talk about the pride and pride. I don't know exactly the word that I want to use, but we're all human beings. We don't like to, you know, not look good, feel good, what have you. But when I talk about working smarter, you know, when the T-work, when the all-speed, it's a matter of, look, I don't care what I look like. You know, I'm not worried about that. I want to get better. And it's hard for us because it makes us uncomfortable, especially when people are around, to work on something, you know, or get abused by somebody that can throw all-speed pitches and mix them in and stuff like that. Oh, I'm not taking a very good round of BP, but you know what? It's making you a better player. When you go down into that cage and you work, sticking that thing out on the outside part of the plate, working down in the zone. When I'm doing my flips and my partner's faking it and then flipping it to me, or he just makes me pause. Because the hands and the weight staying back, that's what it's about. You flip on the TV and you're like, this guy can really hit. You're watching all the highlights and everything, you'd be amazed. And I hope you're paying attention to how many all-speed pitches they're smoking. And I mean smoking. Because that's what they're going to do. Sliders, hard slider, change-ups. That's what's getting us out. The fastballs don't get us out. It's the all-speed pitches. But yet we don't want to work on it. How do I do that? The hands and the weight staying back and stacked is the key. And it's nothing but repetition. When those hands, when I trigger stride and I get into this position right here and I'm stacked and locked, the guys that start drifting here, now all of a sudden I'm just punching at it. There's nothing there. But those guys that can keep those hands and the weight back in this position right here, boom, recognize the pitch. And how do you think they got that way? Ain't no way, because they're working on fastball after fastball after fastball down there in the cage on their own. No way. They practice smart. They take that thing, work on the low ball, work on the pitch away, and they dang sure work on the off speed. And I dang sure challenge you guys, in order to be better hitters, that's what you do. The last thing is, and we'll open it up for Q&A, there's so many times, and I was amazed, Chipper Jones and I are the same age, and we used to play against each other back in the day, and you know, I was watching an all-star game. This is back when the all-star game didn't matter. Chipper was probably 5 or 6 years into his career. And again, it didn't have anything to do with home field advantage or anything like that. And they showed him in the dugout. I don't know if he had a double or something. But they showed him in the dugout, and some guy was just leaning over. You could tell it was a rookie, just chewing his ear off. Chipper Jones, you can see him like this. He's kind of leaning into the guy. He's, you know, kind of listening, but you can see his head doing this. New pitcher in the game. The guy, every single time they're talking about Chipper and his, you know, how he's going to be the next great one in Atlanta. But I was sitting there going, man, look at this. This game doesn't even matter. And there he is, watching every single thing that pitcher did. And I was like, Well, you know, he's a big, make a long story short, Pete Dunn over at Stetson is his godfather. So we run it every time we go replace Stetson and stuff like that. Chipper's always there. And I said, hey, man, this is probably 5 years later. He's probably 10 years into his career. I said, Chipper, I hate it. You know, he's hanging in the dugout, nice guy. And I said, yeah, I've always used this because I think I'm right, but I want you, he's like, I know what you're going to say, because I started talking about, I said, there was an all-star game a while back, and you were sitting there bearing down listening, you acting like you were listening, you probably weren't, but you were watching everything that guy did. I said, you were looking to pick an edge, get an edge, right? Pick up, see if he was tipping his pitches. He's like, heck yeah. I said, I'm curious. How many times did you know what was coming in your career? At this point, he's probably 10, 11 years in. He goes, it's hard to really say. He goes, but I guarantee you 40% of the time. I knew. He said, those guys are creatures of habit. He goes, how weird are pitchers? I said, yeah, that's a good point. They're really weird. And they're all worried about mechanics. They're all worried about this. They got a gazillion things. They're almost like robotic. You know, we do it with our guys, and we tell them, you know, see what you're looking at, see what you're looking at. And we'll get out there and we'll put a guy at second base. You know, a base runner. And the base is literally at the door over there. And we tell the guy, an older guy, just get out there and be perfectly still. Don't move. Just be perfectly still. Play dumb, middle infielders. You know, pitcher comes, you know, he's here, he gets a sign, turns and looks. And all they do, you know what they do? They just look at you. They don't look at you, the difference between you and the base. All they do is look at you. I mean, we've done it. We've had guys literally halfway. They're just sitting like this. Those pitchers got a gazillion things going through their head and everything else. They turn and look. Just kick up and go to the plate. My point is, those things, they're such creatures of habit that you'd be amazed at the things that you can pick up if you just pay attention, fellas. And we'd all like to know what the heck's coming, right? This isn't cheating, by the way. I'm not doing anything. The guy's giving us an edge, if you will. We need to take it. Guys, I've seen everything from finger out of the glove. You know why they put the piece of leather over it now? That's to keep the finger down. As they finally realize that those guys will take that finger and they'll flutter that joker. They'll push down when they're trying to set up a curveball grip. It could be a fastball. But they'll do all different sorts of things. Finger off, most of the time, guys throwing an all-speed pitch. He's trying to, you'll see him fan the glove, open it up. They're trying to get their whole hand in there to throw a changeup, to get the whole hand on the ball. You'll see guys, you know, again, that finger can do different things. We had a guy, and we made him end up chewing gum because we got burned. There's some teams out there really good at this stuff, and we got burned. But I'm just giving you an idea of crazy stuff. My man would stick his tongue on the side of his mouth, stick his tongue on the side of his mouth every time he's throwing a breaking ball. Went back and looked. We had a guy that was on our team. That was, you know, his job. He's like a manager, bullpen catcher. He comes to me one day. He's like, Coach, I don't know if you're going to believe this, but I swear to goodness, I think I'm on to something. I'm going to have to go back and look at some